Welcome to Fork or Fiction, the channel that has nothing to do with cooking and everything to do with D&D. My name is Justin Forkner, and yes, I did make a pun on my name for this channel. Anyways, I just really like D&D. I spend a lot of time playing it, creating content for it, and I've decided to take my experience that I've had since 2004 playing, 2006 DMing, to see if I can share some of that knowledge with you guys. Hopefully you find it helpful. Well, I just wanted to start off today with just sharing some tools that I use to make better characters, better campaigns, and just be a better player and DM. I wanted to share a little bit of homebrew advice, and then I'm going to share a character story of the week. So, this is starting out going to be very baseline, very skimming the surface, but over time I'm going to talk about more things that I'm not touching here, and I'm going to go more in depth into the things that I talk about in this video and things that I bring up later as well. Once again, this is a video to introduce you to me. Anyways, some of the tools that I like to use to make great characters, great worlds, etc. is art books. Some of my favorite right now are the Magic the Gathering art books called The Art of Magic the Gathering. I know it's an incredibly creative name. This one is for Dominaria, great world. If you're interested in lore of Magic the Gathering whatsoever, but these books come with all sorts of lovely information, not only just beautiful art, but tons of just fantastic information and just various things that you could be using as inspiration for your own campaign or for your own character. On top of that, when they release these art books, or shortly thereafter, they release a PDF for Dungeons & Dragons players that allow you to select character options to build new characters, and they provide DMs with new monster stat blocks, new ideas or alternate variant rules to fit the flavor of the world that you're in, which is fantastic in my opinion. Another thing that I like to use are video game art books, which there's this one right here, The Art of God of War, which if you haven't played the latest God of War, you should. It's great. But these books have great art and just some great little tidbits here and there to help inspire you again with whether you're the DM or the player. I've come up with ideas using these books for quests, for characters, for dungeons, traps, encounters, you name it. Another great one that's just recently come out is the Legend of Zelda art books that came out shortly, I'm pretty sure it's shortly after Wind Waker came out. If maybe it was shortly before, don't quote me on it. But moving on to the next tool that I like to use, and it's a tool that every teacher you've probably ever had has told you need to use, and that is a notebook. Now this is a whiteboard notebook which allows me to erase the pages super easy, and I use this to record ideas for homebrew, record ideas for different characters, and just campaign ideas that I'm working on, etc. And the fact that I can erase these pages means I'm not stockpiling all these notebooks. And the way I keep the data even after I've written my notes out is I record it in my next tool, which is Google Docs. So Google Documents, if you're not familiar with it, is part of the Google Drive free software. It's better than Microsoft Word, I promise, and it's free. They also have Google Sheets, which is also useful, less so for D&D, more so for other things. but I collect tons of notes on Google Docs to share when I'm DMing, to share with players, when I'm playing, to share things, well, I mean, I guess with other players, keep private personal notes, which obviously I do as the DM as well for campaign ideas and such. But the Google Drive is just such a fantastic system because I can access it on my phone, any computer I log into, tablet, etc., so that I have all of the information I need at all times. Some other great things that I use are D&D Beyond. I was really hesitant about purchasing all of my books twice. I own all of the physical books, and I was hard-pressed to purchase the books again in digital form. I was lucky to get the Legacy bundle on sale, which it is on sale all the time, I've since found out. And if you catch it on sale, it's actually a really good deal. You get all of the books for a discount, and then all future books that you purchase at that same discount. You're still going to buy the books 2 times if you're buying physical and digital, but it really is a good product. So they have an app for your phone, but their website also works wonderfully on the phone. They have it optimized to adjust. And I can access all of the information from all of the books, which are searchable. And in addition to that, the table of contents is designed to where I can click on any part of it, and it will bring me straight to that page. If there's a reference to a spell or ability on any part of those documents, I can hover over that link and it'll show me the spell or ability it's referencing, and I can then click on it to go to the page for that spell or ability, which is super handy when I'm trying to figure out what a class does or what a monster can do, etc. On top of all of that, they take all of the books that you own and they import them into the character builder and the encounter builder, which allows you to very quickly create a character that is, you can so much easier to just go through all of the content when you have all of the feats, all of the backgrounds, all of the classes just listed all at once. They've even included the ability to add homebrew subclasses, magic items, races. Unfortunately, they don't have base classes yet, and I'm hoping they change their policy on that and start developing homebrew base class capabilities soon. But until then, it's still an incredibly robust system that I can't recommend enough. If you're not looking to purchase all of the books again, and you're simply looking to build a character, Fight Club is an app that's been on the iPhone for a while. I have not personally had a chance to use it, but a number of players at my table have. They have nothing but good things to say about it, and I can say that it does look very pretty. I've been told that in the past week or 2 it has come to Android, so I will be testing that out soon and seeing how I like it. And their companion app for DMs, Encounter 5, when that comes over to Android as well. I'm once again told that it's a great product, but have not used it myself, so I can't speak to that. But moving on to some generic homebrew advice. This is just going to be 3 things that if you do, that it will help you so much with your homebrewing. This isn't going to be anything about math yet. This isn't going to be anything about theory crafting. This isn't a how-to guide. This is skimming the surface. If you're already homebrewing, how to do it better. If you haven't started homebrewing yet, here's some things that you can do to get started. The first, and this goes back to the notebook and the tools, the tools that I use, keep a notebook on you. I can't tell you how many times I've forgotten something because I didn't have notes. And, it was lost forever. I mean, sure, there were some things that I was able to figure out, but I still wasted time having to remember something that I'd already figured out on what I wanted to do or how to accomplish something. And on top of that, like, sometimes I just have random ideas on, well, I should, I think it's dumb that bucklers aren't in the game. Well, if I have that random thought and I make a little note, make a buckler. Well, I can then sit down and be like, okay, let's make that buckler now, instead of hoping I remember when I get home or when I have free time. And then the next thing is kind of two sides of the same coin. Do not expect yourself to be able to evaluate your own homebrew and develop your own homebrew in a vacuum by yourself. First thing you should be doing for that, this is the second piece of advice, and like I said, it's tied to the third thing. The second piece of advice is compare things to things that already exist. So if you were making a subclass, look at the other subclasses for the class that you're designing and make notes on, generally speaking, what every subclass is doing at each level. So, at level 10, is it a defensive feature can be used once every short rest? Is it an offensive feature that pumps up damage in a unique way? Is it a utility feature that allows you to roleplay in a different way? And depending on what those things are, that's what you should be building as a feature for that level. So if you do that, you're more likely to create a balanced subclass. Now you can break the mold every now and then, but you have to be very careful with it, and you have to have a good reason why. So yeah, that's the first part. And then the second part is get other people to evaluate whatever you've written. First, for grammar, for spelling, for misunderstanding, because sometimes I will write something and I think that it will be understood in one way, and then I give it to somebody else and they interpret whatever I wrote in an entirely different way. So just that part alone is incredibly helpful to get some feedback on. Now, on top of that, you're going to be biased. Every time I make homebrew, I'm biased. I think it's awesome. I think it's great. I think it's ready to go. And I've learned that just because I feel that way doesn't mean it's true. So what I do is I take it to anyone who's willing to look at it, and I ask them for feedback. I ask them to be critical. I ask them to tell me what they think. Do they like things? Do they dislike things? How do they understand certain abilities, etc.? And I ask a lot of questions, and I ask for reviews, and then I get other people, like I'll play test it myself, whatever that homebrew is, but I'll also get other people to play test it and get their notes and their feedback on their play testing. And I do that because, once again, like even with me playtesting, I'm still going to be a little biased on whatever it is I made. And I'm not saying that I'm incapable of recognizing when something's not working right, but other people are going to do that better than I can on something that I've developed. And when other people bring things to me, I do the same thing. Other people come to me and they ask me to review their homebrew, to test their homebrew, etc. And I'm able to give them feedback on things that they wouldn't see because they recognize that they're going to have a bias on the thing that they made. So if you can develop a community of people, or if you can join various Discord groups for D&D, some great ones are the Middle Finger of Vecna Discord group, which if you're a member of their Patreon, you're automatically included in it. The Discord of Many Things, which is available to anyone. And another good one that I've just recently joined is the Taking 20 Discord. I haven't had a chance to message in it today because I literally just joined, but I can tell you from the messages that have popped up while I've been busy at work, it seems like a really good community of people, and it seems like there's a lot of people willing to help out. But those things, And once again, I'm going to talk more about these things in future videos, along with more in-depth things like theory crafting, building, mathing things out, etc. But those videos will come down the road. I'm just going to end things off tonight with something that I'm hoping to do on every video, and that's going to be to share an exciting table story of the week, or however often I end up posting these videos. Well, I'm going to start off with a really funny one for a character named Zale and his best friend Checkers the dire wolf. Now, Zale and Checkers didn't start off best friends. No, Zale is a malfunctioning warforged with the personality of a 10-year-old most of the time. But in this particular combat, the party and Zale were encountering some goblins and orcs that were riding direwolves. Well, Zale decided he was real excited about this big dog that he was seeing these goblins ride. So he jumps onto one of these direwolves, throws the goblin off. And I should clarify that Zale has no training in animal handling whatsoever and had a particularly low wisdom score. So this was not supposed to go well. But luck was on my side because I rolled 3 or 4 natural 20s in a row. I don't know how it happened, I don't know why it happened, but it was great. So I'm just bouncing up and down on this direwolf while it's trying to throw me off, rolling animal handling, rolling athletics to stay on, and eventually this thing just became my friend after just like the world's luckiest rolls. And Zale decided to name this particular direwolf Checkers. And it was great. And I had this random adventuring companion that was a direwolf. You know, everyone who comes around is terrified because there's this giant, childlike warforged running around with this giant feral dog that for some reason isn't acting like a wild animal around Zale. And when you play D&D, you can have so many fantastic stories like that. And that was such a simple one, but it was so fun and so memorable. It happened years ago, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. And if you have amazing stories at the table as a DM, as a player, I hope that you can share them with me in the comments or through messaging me on Twitter at forkorfiction. That's my Twitter handle. Oh, it's at @fork_or_fiction. Anyways, it was good talking. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe you got something out of it, and I'll see you next time.